Peter Doocy. He is at the White House for us this morning and has much more. Hi, Peter. Good morning.
Dana, good morning. And when you're the president, any president, you don't get a ton of face-to-face feedback from people that don't work from you. But that is exactly what happened to President Trump during this meeting that an official just told me is his longest on-camera event ever, including rallies and debates. And it came from a reporter who was the victim of a violent crime.
He used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night, ever, and my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now, because such incidents involve not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23, just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. But now I'm very blessed to have this opportunity to stand before you.
And you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell, they couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before.
President Trump's positive polling on crime has him trying to turn blue state residents against blue state governors, insisting he would like to send in the National Guard, but Democratic governors need to ask him first.
The line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, you know, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just know how to stop crime.
We expect President Trump to continue pressuring Democratic lawmakers to ask him to send in the National Guard because that is something a majority, according to the AP, of Americans support. Dana.
It must mean because they have problems and they want to see them solved. Also, Cracker Barrel has reversed course on its logo design. President Trump put out a statement just while we were on air yesterday. Did that have something to do with it?
Yeah, and we learned later last night, much later, that the top brass at Cracker Barrel was actually on the phone with one of the top officials here in the West Wing. Taylor Budowich, the deputy chief of staff, posted, "I appreciated the call earlier this evening with Cracker Barrel. They thanked President Trump for weighing in on the issue of their iconic original logo. They wanted the president to know that they heard him, along with customer response, the ultimate poll, and would be restoring the old timer." And this is what the president, this is what Cracker Barrel Corporate is saying. They say, "We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain." And we've been looking at the map apps this morning. There are Cracker Barrel restaurants just a few minutes away from Mar-a-Lago and from Bedminster and from the Trump DC golf course. We don't know if President Trump has visited any of them or if he will soon.
They have good Diet Coke. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons I like it.
My mom texted me this morning, every road trip, the Doocy's would stop there because they had great toys for the kids in the back seat to play with for a couple hours.
Right, I'm sure you were the most well-behaved of all of them. All right, Peter,
I was just back there saying, "Mom, I hope they don't get rid of the logo."
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah.
Some good Cracker Barrels at the border, too. Back to the crime issue now. A Chicago pastor says President Trump's crackdown is necessary to save lives. Take a listen.
I would tell the mayor and the governor that, listen, 254 deaths in 233 days is a serious problem. This isn't about race. This isn't about President Trump. It's about the safety of American citizens. It's about the safety of people who live in Chicago. It's about the mothers who are seeing their children die every single day, being shot and killed. And we need to do any and everything possible to make sure that we stop the deaths in the city of Chicago.
Pastor Corey Brooks says the rise in deadly violence in Chicago is devastating his community, and he's now calling on state and city leaders to accept the help from the federal government.
And for more on this, Paul Mauro joins us in studio. This must be really interesting to you because you're retired NYPD, but you're also a lawyer. So you know a lot of this very well. This is the other thing that you probably pay a lot of attention to. The AP poll showing Americans' views on crime. 66% say it is a major problem, and I'm sorry, 81% is a major problem in large cities, 66% overall in the United States. That number of 81% in large cities, that is, it's not shocking because I go to a lot of cities, and I know this is how people feel.
Look, we've called it on the air the Nutjob Archipelago. The blue cities scattered across the country that seem to have made the determination that the perpetrators are the good guys and the police and the criminal justice system are the bad guys. And I don't have to go through the entire litany of them. You can go all the west, mostly these coastal cities, but not just them. Chicago being a very good example. You got Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. On the West Coast, you have L.A., San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, middle of the country, St. Louis, I could go on. All of them are blue cities. All of them have made the determination that they're going to buy into the criminal justice reforms that have clearly not worked. Now, they can play with the numbers. They can say, well, crime is down. This metric is down 15%. We're going in the right direction. It depends on how you frame it, because do we go back before COVID, et cetera? So let's take the numbers off the table. Lies, damn lies, and statistics. We've all heard that. Are people safe? Do they feel safe? According to Pew Research, well over 80% of this country has their lives, their fortunes tied to a major city. We are, more than most people realize, an urban nation. These are our centers of commerce, of opportunity, of innovation. This is where the stuff happens. This is also where we get our tourists, and they're dying. That's what the feeling is on the ground, and that's why you get the numbers like that.
And Politico out with this headline yesterday says, quote, Trump is leaning in on crime. Democrats need a better response and fast. Paul, I'm sure you saw at the DNC the other day, they had a speaker get up there and say that migrant crime and carjackings don't matter to Americans.
Yeah, well, they don't matter if they're not happening to you, and that goes to the schism here that is. Chicago's a very good example. Is crime going in the right direction in certain areas? Yes, certain areas. The areas that are affected are not the areas that people from the Vera Institute and the DNC, where they live. Mostly it's going to be in inner city areas, people of color. Who dies, who gets shot? Young men of color. That's who's victimized here. And Donald Trump is on the right track here politically because he's fronting the issue. Even though he has limited options with deploying the National Guard into cities outside of D.C., and that's where it gets very legalistic, but the bottom line is he's making it an issue, putting them on defensive. And for characters like Newsom, Pritzker, et cetera, all of whom think they're going to be the next president, this is something they're going to have to deal with, and they're all vulnerable on it.
Well, one thing the DNC should do is tell the liberal groups that are putting all these progressive prosecutors into office to back off. That would be one of the number one things, in addition to having more police. Also wanted to ask you about this because we've been telling the story about this illegal immigrant, the Indian man from India, and he killed 3 people by making this illegal maneuver. He had a California driver's license, or a CDL. He was stopped by New Mexico police on July 3rd, and this is video of that stopwatch.
I feel bad being the first guy to write you a ticket, but you know, I try to help you out.
They said in my no license in the ticket.
What's that?
They send the ticket in the no my credit.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand what
Maybe in the this my ticket in the my license. Or how many years?
And then Transportation Secretary Duffy was on last night with the Ingram angle, and he said this about a rule on needing to know English.
We put out the rule that said, listen, if you can't speak the language, if you're not proficient in English, you can't understand road signs, you can't drive a big rig. And 3 states have been unwilling to comply and work with us: Washington, California, and New Mexico. And so what we've now told them, said, listen, you don't comply, we're going to give you 30 days. We're going to pull back some of your federal money that we give you.
You know, once again, the body cam video, bring in the receipts.
Yeah, so Secretary Duffy's on very firm ground here. The actual act is called the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program. It explicitly says under federal law, under the allotment, remember, Congress has the power of the purse. They're the ones who allot the money that goes to the states. Congress explicitly put in this act that you got to speak English for a CDL. Why? Because if you have a commercial license, you're going interstate on these trucks. And so as a result, you're under federal jurisdiction. It's right in there that if you're not complying and speaking English, English proficiency is right in there, then we can withhold the money. I don't see any recourse here for these states. If they want to continue to receive the federal money under this program, they're going to have to comply.
And DHS releasing data showing this month alone there have been 6 crashes across the country, deadly crashes. with illegal immigrants behind the wheel. So, final word to you.
There are a number of states actually 19, that are willing to give driver's license to people who are here illegally. Let's recognize something. That's not the interstate issue, that's a state issue, but they give the test in the native language. So these people don't speak the language.
Right.
We're giving them licenses, they're out on the road, and it's inevitable you're going to get more tragedies like this.
All right, Paul Mauro, thanks for being here. We'll check you out on Ops Desk as well.
Thank you both.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.